Today on the Daily Charge, you got your laptop in my phone. You got phone in my laptop. We've got Josh Goldman here to talk decks, docks, and the Samsung Galaxy Book S.
Good morning and welcome to CNET's Daily Charge. It's Monday, August 12th. I'm Ben Fox-Rubin, and with me today is Josh Goldman to talk laptops with phone processors like the Samsung Galaxy Book S. Now, without further ado, let's talk to the expert. Okay, so it's a PC, it's a phone, maybe it's both. That's how you might describe a new group of devices coming out that look like laptops but have phone processors built in. The latest version is the Galaxy Book S, which Samsung revealed at its Note 10 launch event last week. Okay, so Josh, what's the value of these kinds of devices? And also, is it a phone processor or is it just something from Qualcomm that they're trying to work their way into more laptops?
Well, and they started off, well, where do you want to start? Let's start with the processor.
Let's start with the processor.
Because that's the big deal here, is that Qualcomm's been working on these processors to turn them into the PC market. Now, supposedly that was because, smartphone market was slowing down. So, the next slower market is laptops. I don't know.
So for people that want to know more about these types of products, like what are the big benefits of having these types of processors in them?
So the big benefits, longer battery life, lighter weight laptops in general, always on LTE connection. That's pretty much it.
So it's kind of like a phone, sort of, and it gets much better battery life. So for instance, the Galaxy Book S, they were saying was going to be 23 hours, which sounds really impressive for a laptop, right?
Right, and there's an asterisk next to that, of course. It's 23 hours of video playback. And it's usually, when they run that test, it's usually local video playback, so it's not even streaming.
Which is usually not what people use it for anyway.
Right, unless I guess if you're downloading stuff from Netflix or whatever to your device and then traveling across country.
I'm no longer impressed. Right. I'm not even interested.
And that's the thing, is that 23 hours is a great talking point, but then you're probably talking, don't get me wrong, the past ones we've reviewed with the Snapdragon 835 and 850, had really good battery life, like amazing battery life that you wouldn't expect from a laptop. Again, though, that performance isn't quite there.
So that's what I wanted to talk about. So we already talked about the good. Let's talk about the bad. The performance issues, it seems like every single one of these laptops they're kind of sluggish, even if you're just like browsing the internet.
Yeah, so again, it's kind of like trying to run a large phone or tablet off of a processor that's maybe not designed to do that. And mainly it's not designed to run Windows specifically. So I should roll that back. They designed specifically for it,
but it's not doing it very well.
But it's not doing it very well. What was happening was these battery lives are really great, except it would take longer to do things. So kind of balanced itself out in the end.
Well, the other element that I want to throw in there is also price. I was pretty surprised that the Galaxy Book S was just like $1 under $1,000, which for kind of a more like a slower processor, I might have expected a lower price range than that.
Yeah, miniaturization always costs more. So when you're getting something very thin that's really light, the thing weighs, 2 pounds? I think it was?
You tell me. You're the expert.
I don't know. I wrote about it last week. I think it was around 2 pounds, 23-hour battery life. You've got something that is going to cost more.
Okay, that's
just because
fair.
of the components and everything's new, and it's only when stuff is around for a while the prices come down.
And just to be clear, also asterisk on the show, we have not reviewed the specific laptop yet. So that's their talking point for 23 hours. We're probably going to get a chance to look at this later, but at this point, for instance, what are some of these? In this cohort, what laptops have you tested out?
Well, I reviewed the somewhat predecessor to this, the Galaxy Book 2, which was a detachable. So it was more like a tablet with a detachable keyboard cover. And that one was supposed to get over 20 hours battery life as well. That was running a Snapdragon 850. It got really good battery life into the teens. But again, you pay the price because it takes a little bit longer to do things.
It's a weird handoff.
The best part about it was that, and with the past models too, and presumably this one, is that like your phone, it'll jump back and forth between Wi-Fi and, like, if you're on a known Wi-Fi network and then all of a sudden you leave that network and go to the coffee shop and you open it up, it's automatically switched to LTE. So you've got that mobile broadband connection instantly, and you're not sitting there waiting to, okay, I've got to switch over from Wi-Fi. You can pop it open and start working. And that's, what Samsung is doing with this one too, is you've got a laptop that's super lightweight and long battery life. You don't really have to worry about too much. As long as you're in an area with a signal of some sort, you should be able to start working immediately. So,
nice. I do want to jump to another topic. So Samsung also talked about DeX, which is kind of like you dock your phone into your laptop or into a screen. Is your expectation that like something like DeX is going to grow? Or they've been talking about it for a little while now, and I don't really know if it's got any sort of, fan base. Maybe I'm wrong about that.
I'm sure it's got fans. I don't know how many. Samsung certainly likes it. They keep working at it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of different than, it's kind of what the complaint has been about with like the iPad Pros. It's like you've got this super powerful tablet that isn't quite what you want from a PC or like a MacBook or something, no touchpad, basically, no touchpad. And then DeX comes along and it's Android based, and then you can instantly switch it and you get this nice desktop experience. So it kind of feels like you're using Windows or Mac, but it's still a little sluggish because you're running an app, and it's kind of like a side thing that the phone or tablet's designed to do. It used to be that you had to dock it, and then the phone started doing it automatically. You could just plug it in USB-C, and that's kind of this latest version is sort of the evolution of that, where you can plug it into your regular Windows or Mac laptop, and you get that desktop experience. So you can switch back and forth between using files on your phone to using files on your laptop or desktop.
All right. I can say I'm not entirely sold on either of these ideas, but I'd love to hear from folks that are watching the show to, kind of generate some ideas. Maybe folks really like this. I'm not really sure. I can't say that I've
Have you
learned
used
that
it
much.
at all,
No,
Okay.
no. That's why you're here, my friend.
Yeah.
But either way, to learn more about Qualcomm processors, DeX, the Samsung Galaxy Book S, or any of these types of hybrid devices, you can check out the links below or follow us on Twitter. Just a reminder, you can join us here on YouTube, Periscope, or CNET.com/dailycharge, where we stream live weekday mornings at 11:15 a.m. Eastern. We thrive on feedback, so like, comment, subscribe, and feel free to go ahead and start sending in your questions and comments about today's headlines. BVG, what are the people saying today?
So right out the gate, let's take a comment from our old friend Michael Brown. He says, I just can't wait until the day when we can carry an iPad like a foldable device that quadruples as a smartphone, tablet, laptop, and desktop. That is a very lofty wish and an all-in-one incumbent. So yeah, let's not hold our breath on that one.
Yeah, but that's the big dream, I think, that like the tech industry has been talking about for a long time, as far as like the one device to rule them all. And like these concepts,
Careful there, Sauron.
Sorry, go ahead.
I said careful there, Sauron.
Oh yeah.
All right.
But either way, these devices try to get you a little bit closer to that, or at least try to give you that experience. Like that's what you were talking about with DeX, where like you have the phone, but then you plug it into the thing, and now you've got more of a laptop experience. You've got a bigger screen.
Right.
I mean, like, granted, you do need to plug it into something, so I guess it's still multiple devices.
Right, and the thing with the Book S also we didn't mention was there was a collaboration with Windows on this, and part of that was the Your Phone app that they've had for a while, but it basically allows you to get notifications, make phone calls with the laptop, with the Galaxy Book S in this case. So you can, connect your phone and your laptop, and you're still kind of working in the same. It is sort of that merging of devices, but you still, like you said, two devices.
Well, it's also some of these features that you're describing are very similar to what you can also already do in like the Apple ecosystem.
Right, exactly.
So they're clearly trying to compete with that. I did mean to ask you about this earlier, is that some of these concepts are very similar in my mind to like Intel Core M, which came out a couple of years ago and was in the MacBook 12-inch. Which I remember the reviews on that were like, hey, this is a really nice device. It's really thin, but it's also kind of sluggish. So are we kind of talking about something fairly similar there?
I would hope that the Qualcomm is a little bit better than the Intel version.
Because they've had more years to improve the technology.
But yeah, the idea is the same. It's basically a lower powered chip to try and give you enough battery life to get you through the day, and just enough power to, let you work in the cloud, like a Chromebook. We mentioned Chromebooks.
Chromebooks, which
are
much cheaper.
Yeah. So again, it's going to be about this always on nature of the laptop that may get more of a following. Of course, that comes with a data plan. It's not like always on is free.
I can tell you that I don't really use my laptop for that kind of thing, but at the same time, if I had that as a feature, maybe I would start treating my laptop a little bit differently, or treating it a little bit more like a phone, because like I guess I do have to do work on on my commute fairly often. I was going to say,
we both have similarly lengthy commutes into the city, so
from the great state of New Jersey,
right? So it's easy enough with these devices, and I've done it myself with the past Qualcomm ones, is that you just open it up and you start working. You don't have to worry about like right now, and everybody's be like, oh, you can tether to your phone. Yeah,
I do that right now.
Right.
I usually,
it's a really good
if I have
impression,
a
Josh.
pocket, like I'll tether it, like I'll put my phone in my pocket and have a tether string go directly to my laptop.
You do that
I look like an Android.
Yeah.
Either way, I want to get to more questions.
Yeah,
BBG, who else is on the horn?
Sure. Who is the Galaxy Book S exactly marketed towards?
That's a really good question.
We don't know yet. It hasn't come out.
Somebody who's got deep pockets and likes new toys.
Yes, of course. But like, is it kind of the commuter crowd?
It
you would
is.
think?
Yeah, it is definitely aimed, because it's still low power. So I mean, low power both in in performance and usage. So I mean, the idea is that you're looking for gig workers, those type of people who need an always-on connection, who are just going to sit down.
But are not doing like heavy video editing,
right?
And they're not doing like the big processing that you would need from a more robust laptop.
Although it's supposed to have, like I forget what the numbers were, 80% better video graphics performance.
I'm so impressed with that number.
Yeah, I don't remember, but the thing was it was bad to begin with, so making it better is good, but still it's not going to be fantastic, and that's everything really. So
all right, we've gotten super deep all of a sudden during the podcast, and I don't mind. More questions.
I guess the answer is that it's for people who need to work on the spot from anywhere. So.
Which makes sense. I like the gig economy response.
I'm in a similar conundrum here because, I do a lot of video and audio editing work, but I'm doing most of it here at the office where I have access to a number of desktops that are well suited for those sorts of things. But as far as like doing that kind of job freelance or from home, I'm not doing that as much as I used to anymore. And I'm direly overdue for a new laptop. I'm still running a MacBook Pro from like 2011 or 2012. And I'm constantly on the fence, like, what do I really need? 90% of what I do is like Amazon shopping and sending emails and tweeting. So like, should I just bite the bullet and get something a little more price friendly, travel friendly? I don't know. Help me out.
Yes.
I mean, like, there's a lot of laptops you can get for $1,000.
There are, and or an iPad Pro or a Galaxy. I forget what S6. Sorry,
S6.
Galaxy Tab S6,
Oh, yeah,
which
yeah,
was
yeah.
announced the week before.
Of course.
So same idea. You can do a lot with these days with just a tablet or an inexpensive laptop. But it's like 10% of the time when you need video graphics or you want a game or anything, any sort of heavy lifting. I don't know. You gonna need something perhaps bigger or more expensive. So.
Yeah, you do want to like future-proof it. Also, just so people know what like this cohort of phone processor PCs include, it's the HP Envy X2 is one of them. The Asus Nova Go is another one. So and I think both of those came out last year.
Yeah,
I think.
and
So
Lenovo had a C630 and a Mix 630, which again were running on the same Qualcomm platform.
Well, people love battery life talking points, so I can totally see like when Samsung talked this up last week, there were 23 hours sounds like a really big number, but yeah, like those caveats as far as like the processing power and also the fact that it isn't streaming.
Yeah,
it starts to make you realize that you got to peel back the onion a little bit to realize what it is that you're actually buying. So
and again, you're still gonna get you'll get good performance. I mean, it's not like it's a paperweight, but it's still not going to be like, although they're saying they've compared this new processor to a Core i5. Now, I'm not sure which Core i5 they were comparing it to exactly.
From the 1980s.
Yeah, well, I don't know that they went back that far, but yeah. So who knows what the actual performance is of this yet? So
right, and so
out.
some of those some of those tablets that you were mentioning, those have Intel processors, right?
I mean the Windows ones, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So
like
it's
if you're
another
talking like a
consideration.
Surface or anything like that, yeah.
Sure. Sorry, I was thinking the what is it? The Tab S6.
Oh no,
and the iPad.
Maybe the iPad doesn't have Intel in it. It's got Apple stuff in it.
Oh, right. Of course. I'm an idiot. Okay, more questions before I say something else that's stupid.
More questions from Imagine Sagi. I don't get why plugging in the phone into a Mac or a Windows computer is such a big deal. Why is this the next big thing?
I agree with you. Sorry, I don't have a good answer for that.
Oh, that's good.
I don't get why it's such a big thing. The ability to have a desktop interface with an Android tablet is really nice, or have it with a phone. But I don't know why you would want to necessarily. I haven't used it yet with a laptop running Windows or Mac, so I'm not sure what the actual feel or advantage is of there. It's one of those things maybe you have to use before you figure it out.
Yeah. Well, I think Imagine Sagi was probably pointing to the fact, I'm assuming, to the fact that people use a lot of stuff in the cloud anyway. So if I've got all my stuff on Google Docs, does it really matter that I can plug my phone in directly to a laptop?
Right.
Because I can access it on both devices anyway.
Yeah. I don't know. I understand it, DeX, from a standpoint of plugging into a larger monitor and adding a keyboard and mouse and like treating your phone as a computer, because they are at this point. So
sure.
So I get that part. I don't get so much the plugging into the laptop part.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's as much as the next big thing as much as it is the industry is just telling it's a next thing. I don't know a lot of people in the consumer level who are all that excited about it. Like, it's cool. Sure. Why not? Moving on.
No, I mean, and when I initially saw like the rumors of the Galaxy Book S, I was thinking, maybe it's like the Next Dock, which is a sort of a docking station for your phone. It's a screen and a keyboard, no processor, and you plug your Samsung device into it, and it gives you that experience, the DeX experience, but it's on a keyboard and it's on a laptop. So.
It's still another thing to cart around, and I know this is more like sci-fi than what actually exists right now, because we can't even get folding phones right. But Samsung has worked on the concept of stretchable displays, and the idea of stretching out a phone to turn it into a laptop or a tablet it is an idea that's at least being considered. I don't expect it would come out anytime soon. Again, because foldable phones, we've just gotten there and like they're still working out the kinks. But barring that, I think a lot of these are just like half measures, because like you're going to have a laptop that doesn't really have anything in it, and it's really only useful when you add your phone to it. I don't know. Those are like, I've seen those shell concepts before, and I can appreciate them, but like I don't think I would ever personally buy one. I don't think I would use them in my regular life.
I think it's for people who either don't want to spend the money on a laptop. Their phone is good enough for most of the stuff they do, not unlike Brian's conundrum about getting, an inexpensive lightweight laptop to cart with them instead. There's a lot of people out there, they can do all of the stuff they need to do on a daily basis on their phone. So why not plug it into a keyboard and screen so you can enjoy a bigger experience when you need to? So.
Meh. Okay.
From Yan, why didn't they launch this phone processor on their Galaxy Tab instead? Laptops do require decent processing power to deliver expected user experience, after all. Matthew Datcher follows it up with, does the Galaxy Tab still exist?
I thought they just announced
they just announced a new one, so yes, it still exists. I think there's the whole idea of this new processing platform is to have it run Windows. So since those tablets run,
I'm trying to look up what the processor is.
The Galaxy Tab is an Android device, so it's still going to run Android.
Right.
And then these devices. So this, again, like I said earlier, I think this is sort of a follow-up to the Galaxy Book 2. Now, is there a Galaxy Book 3 on the way? When they announced the Book 2, that was October. So for all I know, come October, there will be a Book 3 that will be a tablet that runs Windows and has this Qualcomm compute platform in it.
So by the way, the Tab S6 has a Snapdragon 855.
Oh, well, there you go. It does have a mobile processor in it.
Yeah. So, you were right.
All right.
So,
I don't
more
know
questions?
If that answered the question, but
Yep, we got a few minutes left. Timothy says, I think Dex is a direct competitor with Chromebooks. Do you see Google making a response to this?
maybe.
No, I don't think so. No, my immediate response is Google don't give a.
But thank you. I'm glad I told you not to curse ahead of the show.
I think Chrome is doing just fine on its own, and Google doesn't need help.
Right. Whereas, like, I often feel that Samsung throws a lot of spaghetti at the wall. They produce a lot of different kinds of devices for all sorts of demographics, all sorts of markets, all sorts of price points. So that's why it wouldn't surprise me if they did come out with that new, like tablet hybrid in October, because like, why not? Let's just see if we can get a few more customers for that. But with Google, their device lineup is much more limited. I mean, like, they've obviously grown it a lot more recently, but they got the Pixel phone. They've got what did they did the Pixel Book. Are they still even selling the Pixel Book?
They're selling it, but they're not making it. They discontinued it. But I mean, the thing is that they don't need to. I mean, the hardware is almost sort of it's not quite an afterthought, but it doesn't ever seem like it's a priority to them. They're just showcasing. They're using it as a showcase to say, hey, this is what our things can do now.
Right.
And this way people get that pure Android experience or that pure Chrome OS experience. I mean,
that's the thing.
You can only get a Chrome OS experience. So yeah, there you go. I don't remember what the question was.
I don't know.
Hopefully we answered it.
Let's move on to a new one.
Do you think AMD and Intel are working on something with cellular modem to compete with Qualcomm?
No, because Intel just sold its cellular modem division to Apple. No, wait. That's the mobile processor division.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't. It wasn't the mobile processor.
No,
division.
It was the mobile. It was the mobile broadband. I was right the first time.
That is what they sold.
That's right, because Apple, as you corrected me earlier, already makes its own mobile processors.
Yeah.
So Intel punted yet again. I think they got rid of their mobile business, their mobile broadband business quite a few years back, and then they resurrected it. They had some successes, but ultimately, I think they were behind the 8 ball on 5G, and they decided, you know what, we're just not going to be ready for this, and got rid of their business and sold it to Apple. So Apple might end up becoming a viable competitor to Qualcomm at some point when it comes to creating, a system on a chip, which is a processor and a mobile broadband together. But I think they're also going to need quite some time to work on it.
Right. So, Intel's already got solutions for this stuff, so I don't know that. I think the thing of it is that you're going to still end up with the thing that Qualcomm's doing best is the battery life combined with the mobility. So I don't know where Intel is on that kind of thing, but yeah.
Well, it was also mentioned about AMD, so I don't know that AMD is really doing much at all. I know they're definitely improving in the gaming world. They have. They have their pockets of strength, but I don't know that mobile is one of them.
It's not, but they're definitely working on it. So it's AMD's always been one of those background they've got a lot of fans. It's basically what I'm getting at, and Intel's the big, and Qualcomm's the big for mobile, and AMD is still there trying to.
The underdog.
Take both, yeah.
Yeah. Well, they're doing a better job at it nowadays. So, yeah.
Almost out of time. Datcher asks, they're running Windows on these phone processor laptops, correct? Are there any software compatibility issues using a phone processor with Windows software?
Quite possibly. We haven't tried this new laptop out yet. Haven't tried the 8CX platform, so we don't know for sure.
8CX is the Qualcomm processor that's in the new Galaxy Book S, correct?
Right. Yeah. Okay. So what has happened in the past ones that we've reviewed running the 835 and 850 was that there was occasionally some compatibility issues. I don't think it's huge. Again, to your point earlier, a lot of what we're doing now is cloud-based, and if you're running Chrome, Chrome browser or some other browser, and you're doing everything in the cloud anyway, you're probably not going to run into a lot of incompatibility issues. Who this is geared toward? It's geared toward people who aren't necessarily downloading a bunch of software to use. You're not buying this to run some legacy software, but yeah, it could totally happen.
And we will be testing that out. So thanks for the question, Mr. Datcher.
And the last one to go out on from Timothy, since Qualcomm is going towards laptops, do you see cell carriers being more aggressive with their pricing for add-on plans?
No.
They're just going to take more money?
Yeah, Verizon and AT&T will just gladly let you add more unlimited.
Well, they've already figured that out with wearables, right? That the LTE connection that you add into your Apple Watch or another smartwatch. So I feel like it would probably be treated similarly.
Yeah,
is that right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's how if you have LTE and you want to add the device, it's you're adding the device. It's like $10 a month or something. I don't know.
Which is, I guess, competitive. If you look at over the course of a year, it's $120. And then if you keep the device and keep the LTE connection for 5 years, it starts to add up. It gets to become a pretty sizable chunk of the original price of the device. But at the same time, I agree with you. I don't think it's going to go lower than $10.
No.
They're just going to figure out a really nice add-on to be like, oh, it's just $10, no problem. And then kind of win in the long term, hoping that you maintain that LTE connection for those additional devices.
And I don't know where I read it, so I might have been our site or not. But there was some study that said most people who have an LTE connection in their laptop don't use it. So they buy an LTE-enabled laptop and then never connect it.
That's win-win for the carriers, is that they get your money and you don't even use the service.
Yeah. So I think that comes down to it is a lot of this stuff sounds super appealing. I'd like to have forever battery life and always on connection and something that turns on as soon as I open this, laptop up. But I don't know how many people actually need that.
Well, that's what I've been expressing for a lot of the show. And it's partly because my personal laptop is in effect a desktop. You
Yeah.
know, you can move it upstairs, you can move it downstairs, but it rarely leaves my house.
Right.
I mean, it does sometimes, but on a day-to-day basis or on a week-to-week basis, it doesn't. So do I need an LTE connection for that? No, I don't. So, yeah.
But then again, there's, who knows how many Samsung has to sell. I don't know if they only sell like 100,000 of these. Did that work for them? Do they need to sell millions of units to make this worthwhile? Like to get this
That's
out
a good
there?
question.
So who knows?
Yeah. Anyway, are we done?
We're done.
Have we finished?
On today's episode, many dreams were born and many dreams were crushed. But
I know.
all together, Josh, thank you for coming.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure. And Ben, go ahead and send us on out.
All right. Thanks again for joining us. Tag us online and let us know what you want to see on the show for The Daily Charge. I'm Ben Fox Rubin.
I'm Josh Goldman.
Thanks for listening.